Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to watch 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I watch this show and react to it from a therapist point of view. It's always speculative because I don't really know these people. Let's get to the show.
It's kind of adventurous.
Okay, let's go this way.
Oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, so beautiful.
Always.
Thank you, love. I'm so happy. It's so beautiful.
So where I grew up was to the right down the river. And I've actually swam down at the bottom of the falls. There's a kind of a pool area, and I have swam across it. I swam across it, I think, on my last day of 8th grade. Yeah, a lot of memories. It's interesting to just see your backyard depicted in a TV show that you've been reacting to for a while. Those trees, the river, the moss, the grass, the dirt. That is very much my backyard and where I live. I live in Seattle now. It's close to there, but it doesn't look like that. But a lot of slugs, a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of coyotes, a lot of raccoons, and that's where I grew up.
This is a feeling that I was hoping me and Mike would have because we dreamed about it and it felt like real.
It's not raining. All that water is just from the falls. Let's head back up and go get the truck and head in town.
Yeah.
Let's go in town.
We will return.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to show you a couple pictures of me at Snoqualmie Falls, just because it might be fun for me to show a couple pictures. So as I'm talking right now, I'm going to insert some pictures of me at Snoqualmie Falls. So here's me at Snoqualmie Falls. Here's this other picture of me at Snoqualmie Falls.
Oh, so you bring me to a beer place?
Bring you to a beer place?
Yeah, it's a beer place.
It's a brewery, yeah.
Michael chose a bar. A bar. A bar. Beer bar.
Yesterday you had wine, today you have beer.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
So again, there's nothing wrong with Natalie going like, I don't like it when he drinks, or I wish the two of us didn't drink. Okay, fine. But not this passivity around it and this criticism. It's like, oh, right, so you're gonna have a beer, huh? Interesting. So you're gonna have a meat, huh? You're gonna kill something and eat it. That's interesting. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a preference. How do you communicate it? How do you respect someone? How do you not hurt someone's feelings? I have to say, Mike is taking it like a champ. So maybe like last time, he'll be like, okay, you know what? This is how she communicates, and I want to make her happy, and I'll adjust. Let's see what happens here.
We have a meat challenge starting today.
Next week.
No, love, you said today.
Next week. 1 week on, 1 week off? Yeah.
From today.
From today? Mm-hmm. Well, it's too late now.
I was really happy last night because he agreed to make a change for me.
All right, so there's this very frequent dynamic where she has a value, which is fine, and she wants him to change right away. She wants him to be religious. She wants him to have kids today. She wants him to stop drinking. She wants him to be a vegetarian right this second. So what's going on there? Usually these things come from trauma, so what's going on? Someone actually commented below, and I commented on it in my commentary video on your comments, and they said that people from Ukraine have grown up in the Soviet Union when there was a lot of political strife and a lot of disagreements among people that turned out to be deadly in a lot of situations. And so she might have this extreme fear of difference between her and her loved one, because of the differences that led to a lot of pain in her past due to political differences and other kinds of chaos. So that's one hypothesis, sure. Another trauma that I hypothesized before, I believe, was she might have witnessed, we don't know what her parents' relationship was like. We also don't know what her relationship was like. She was married before, but at any rate, she's been in relationships in the past and she's seen relationships in the past. I wonder if by watching those relationships and seeing the trauma or experiencing the trauma, she very much associates difference of these sorts with a lot of unsafety. And by experiencing these differences with him, it feels very, very threatening to her, and she's very, very anxious. I would not be surprised that behind those eyes and behind her pressure of him is a lot of anxiety. I would not be surprised about that. Where is that coming from? How aware is she of that anxiety? How does she modulate? How does she help herself with that? How does she communicate that? Let's see what happens.
If during 90 days period Michael would not make any changes for me, I would feel like he doesn't respect me. I would like to be respected by my man.
So that's an interesting statement. I demand respect. Okay, I think most people would agree with that statement. And if he continues to live the life that he has been living, which a lot of people live, which he likes to eat vegetables and meat, he likes to drink alcohol sometimes, he is not religious. If he is going to do that, then that is absolutely disrespectful of me, and I demand to be respected. It's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't know where that's coming from. Is there something cultural about that that's hard for me to decipher given my culture? I don't know. I would suspect that what's happening is, or this would be the main hypothesis that I would pursue, which is some kind of trauma that leads to a lot of anxiety in the situation, that leads to her trying to figure out a way of framing it in her mind. Because let's just go off the speculation, which is pure speculation, that she has a lot of traumas and thus feels a tremendous amount of anxiety and threat when there are these differences between her and him. And it distorts the way she sees the world in a way that makes her feel 100 times more afraid than she would normally if she didn't have those traumas in the past. And so she feels all this fear. And again, this is just speculative. But she doesn't understand it because maybe she wasn't even given a chance to understand her emotions growing up. I don't know. But she doesn't understand it, but she feels it. She feels the distress, like there's this difference. He's eating meat, he's drinking, he's not religious. There's these other things that I'm feeling very afraid. I'm feeling there's something threatening that's happening here. And I know it is associated with him eating meat. I know it's associated with him drinking beer. And there's all this threat. Well, what can I do with it? I don't know. Well, it's respect. That's what's happening. Yes. And then it feels, it's less anxiety provoking to deal with the overwhelmed feelings if you can somehow conceptualize it in a way that's egosyntonic, what we call it, in terms of like it fits with our view of ourselves. Maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. But that would explain what we're seeing, but there's a lot of other possible explanations.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's real tasty. You want to try it?
So I think Mike is trying to subtly and not so subtly communicate that he is going to live his life, that he drinks beer sometimes and he likes to eat meat and he doesn't want her to change him. Because of the way this couple communicates, it results in these very, very stilted conversations where it's clear that both of them are having a lot of thoughts and feelings, but they don't express them, and it's all extremely passive. The way she's looking at him right now, she is communicating, I don't like you drinking alcohol right now, and I don't want you to do it, and you're being a bad husband right now, or you're being a bad boyfriend right now. And by saying like, oh, so you're going to drink beer, huh? Oh, okay. You know, it's this passive way of attacking him. And then he is passive back of just like, yep, drinking my beer. Well, pretty tasty. You want some? It's trying to come across like everything is normal and I'm not intimidated by what's happening right now. I'm just speculating as what the motivation is. But it's hard to watch such stilted conversations, such pent up communication.
What's on your mind?
I would like to choose date for our wedding. If you want to make it work.
I cannot say for sure yes or no right now. You know what I mean? I really can't, you know?
So I worry about these two. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of pull for these two. I think because of the previous season they were on when They did have, I believe, a lot of love between the two of them, a lot of spontaneity, a lot of fun. The first couple episodes that they were on in the previous season, they seemed to have a genuine love for each other and respect for each other, and then it just took a turn, and it's never really recovered from that, at least from what they're showing on this TV show. And she brings up, I would like to set a date for the wedding. All right. So that made me wonder, oh, I didn't know that they were getting married, because according to what we've heard from them, she threw the ring away at him, and they haven't reinitiated the engagement yet. And her coming out to the States was supposedly a trial period to see if they're going to get engaged. So I was a little bit surprised by that. But apparently, it's rational for me to be surprised, because they're not engaged. They haven't decided that they're going to get married. So it's such a stilted way of talking. Instead of saying from her point of view of what I'm guessing is the intent of this communication opener, is she wonders, do you love me? Do you want to get married to me? What's going on in your heart about me? How do you feel about me? That's what I'm guessing she was thinking. That would be rational under that situation. And she could have just said that. But instead, it got all kind of layered and convoluted, and it came out as, I want to set a date for the wedding, even though they're not engaged. So then he says, well, I don't know about that yet. I don't know if I want to get married. So now they're in a situation where she just basically said, let's set a date for the wedding. And then he said, I don't know if I want to marry you, which isn't a good start to a conversation, right? It just makes me wonder, what is behind those statements from her? What are her feelings? How could we get to the foundation of those and help her communicate about that? Because everything just seems so convoluted and layered with the two of them.
We can't decide a date right now. It's this guy.
I think we both kind of on a shaky road yet, and I just arrived. But we got to make plans, because I don't want to spend the next 90 days feeling like insecure, unsure, and without the ground.
All right. So as usual, when they're interviewed away from the other person, they're much more differentiated and much more expressive. She just said what she should have said to him, which is, so we got the next 90 days, and I'm feeling unsure. I'm feeling ungrounded. I don't know where this is headed. I don't know what your intentions are, and I want to know what's going on. Do you love me? Do you plan on moving towards engagement and getting married to me? Because I don't know what's happening right here. That would have been totally rational to say. Instead, she just says, I want to set the date for the wedding. Do you see the convoluted layers involved in that, and how it just grinds these conversations to a halt before they even begin?
But it's not alcohol, it's nothing like that.
I mean, there's no alcohol. It's made from vanilla and sugar and yeah.
How metro? Beer. It's beer.
No, it's called roots beer. It doesn't mean it's beer because it's got the word beer in it.
Michael, if it's an alcohol,
There's no alcohol in it.
because it's written beer.
That would be very confusing, honestly. Somebody like, wait, it's called beer. Yeah, it is kind of this weird exception. We have this root beer that's not alcohol. It's more like Coke, right? But it's called beer. Why is it called root beer? I'm sure there's a reason.
Before I marry Natalie, she needs to trust me. There's no reason why she shouldn't trust me. I think she needs to listen to me more. She needs to be more open-minded. Her coming over here doesn't mean we're gonna live by her entire whole values and all of her culture. It needs to be a little of both.
All right, great. Again, say that to her. Don't do it passively. Makes total sense. Hey, you know what? I don't want to change. I like the way I live my life. I'm open to influence here, but I don't want you to assume that you're just going to get your way about my life. I have preferences too. I have rights. Okay, that makes sense. Just say that to her. They are always beating around the bush all the time. Now, why would people do that? Well, usually it's because we believe that if we're straightforward with someone, we're going to get rejected. That's usually what it means. So that would be my speculation for the two of them, that they're terrified of being forward. And we've seen the result of them being forward in the past. They had massive conflict when they were back in Ukraine. They were open with each other, and they had a lot of very concerning conflicts. So I wonder if they are terrified of returning to that. And so their compromise is to be extremely uptight about communication. If you didn't know, we have an audio podcast you can access on your phone and listen on your earbuds as you're going to work or doing laundry or something. If you don't know, there are podcast apps that are on phones or Spotify, and you can listen to all of our audio episodes where we go into depth on a lot of the things that I refer to in these reaction videos. So Psychology in Seattle, you can subscribe. We have 3 or 4 episodes a week. So there's a lot of content there. It's not for everyone, but if you're into it, then you might like it. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.